Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to dive into the exact science of transforming your dry, boring study notes into absolutely unforgettable, high-yield audiovisual mnemonics for your exams. Look, if you've ever stared down a massive mountain of research notes or dense medical pathophysiology and thought, there is literally no way I'm going to retain all this, well, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to explore how you can leverage actual cognitive science to convert those heavy facts into short, highly memorable review songs using AI tools like Suno. We're talking about a system designed specifically to lock in rapid mental recall for state exams. Okay, let's just get right into it by asking a question that has frustrated, honestly, every single student on the planet. Why does rote memorization fade so incredibly fast, while a bizarre story, a catchy song lyric, or just a weird image sticks with you for years? Seriously, think about it. How is it that you can flawlessly sing the lyrics to a song you haven't heard in a decade, but you completely forget the disease mechanisms you studied literally yesterday? To figure this out, we're going to quickly walk through the trap of rote learning, how to manage your cognitive load, the magic of emotion, novelty, and humor, the sheer power of storytelling, and then I'll give you our ultimate mnemonic recipe before finishing up with the perfect timing for recall.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the trap of rote learning, and exactly why plain notes fail you.
You see, memory isn't just about holding on to things, it's also about letting them go. That brings us to transience. Research shows that transience is actually the brain's adaptive ability to actively forget and discard information. Your brain is highly efficient, right, when it encounters boring, unweighted info, like a massive, plain, bulleted list of medication side effects. It simply doesn't view those facts as crucial for your survival. So what does it do? It dumps them. And that is exactly why rote learning totally fails you in a high-stakes exam. Moving right along to our second concept, managing your cognitive load and understanding your working memory limits. So cognitive load theory tells us that your working memory has a strictly limited capacity. It's like a bucket. If a learning task demands more cognitive resources than your brain has available, that bucket overflows. You hit cognitive overload, and the learning process just completely stops. You hit a brick wall. The crucial takeaway here is that to actually maximize your learning, you have to actively manage the three types of load. First, you have the intrinsic load. That's just the baseline complexity of the clinical facts or the exam material. It is what it is. Then you have germane load, which is the good, muscle-building effort your brain uses to build deep knowledge schemas. But the real enemy, extraneous load. That's the unnecessary mental strain from poorly formatted, boring, or just fluffy text. To survive your exams, you have to ruthlessly strip away this extraneous fluff, so your brain can dedicate all its precious energy to processing the high-yield facts. Now for the really fun part. Section 3, emotion, novelty, and humor. I like to call these the neurospices. If you want a biological cheat code, this is it. Studies show that high arousal emotion, and that means positive or negative, lights up the amygdala, which forcefully drives long-term declarative memory. Humor and incongruous jokes, they trigger the hippocampus and motor areas, deeply linking right into your learning processes. And novelty activates the VTA hippocampal loop, literally flooding your brain with dopamine to enhance retention. This right here is the exact reason why putting your study notes into a novel, emotional, and funny song format works such wonders. This neurobiology perfectly explains why we need to compare how your brain handles realistic imagery versus absurd imagery. Think about a literal anatomical heart textbook drawing versus, say, heart wearing a top hat and holding a magic wand. When you read a literal, realistic medical description, it's totally predictable. It's low arousal, and as we learned, easily discarded by the brain. But cognitive neuroscience reveals that absurd, surreal imagery actually violates our expectations. And that violation induces theta power in the brain. It creates distinctiveness. Because the imagery is so incredibly weird, it forces the brain to snap to attention. This means when you're writing lyrics for a study song, a bizarre, surreal metaphor is going to be remembered significantly better than a literal translation of the textbook. Which brings us to Section 4, the power of storytelling. This is your ultimate binding agent. This quote from the research absolutely hits the nail on the head. By wrapping your isolated, high-yield facts into a coherent narrative, like the verses of a song, you provide a logical schema. Think about how a song works. It has a rhythm, it has a narrative arc, it has predictable patterns. This structure dramatically reduces that cognitive strain we talked about earlier, making it incredibly easy for your working memory to absorb and organize the information. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Let's dive into Section 5, the ultimate mnemonic recipe. This is your step-by-step workflow. All right, grab a pen, because here is your repeatable pseudo-recipe for creating review songs in Suno. Step 1. Extract. Pull out only the high-yield mechanisms, the nursing interventions, the red flags. You must strip away the fluff. Step 2. Group by theme. These groups are actually going to become the distinct verses of your song. Step 3. Inject the hooks. Turn those facts into bizarre, highly emotional, or vivid lyrics. You want to create verses and definitely add a catchy call and response line for the chorus. Step 4. Generate. Feed those custom lyrics into Suno to create a track with rhythm and repetition that will literally be stuck in your head on exam day. But hold on, the song alone isn't enough. Section 6 covers the timing for perfect recall and how to leverage the spacing effect. You might assume you need to space your studying out over weeks and weeks, but recent research on audio learning shows incredible benefits from a single-day tapered schedule. This means you do multiple review sessions within one day, but you decrease the repetitions each time. For example, listen to your newly generated review song a bunch of times at 8 a.m. during your initial study block. Then give it a moderate review, maybe just a couple listens around 1 p.m. Finally, do a brief single listen at 7 p.m. This tapered repetition within a single day massively enhances your retention, especially for fast-approaching exams. Now, I want to be super clear here. While making these bizarre, humorous review songs is highly engaging and honestly a lot of fun, the ultimate goal isn't just to be entertained. The goal is to structurally rewire your brain. By utilizing emotional salience, novelty, rhythm, and repetition, you're ensuring that you survive the forgetting curve. So when you are sitting in that high-stakes exam room, you aren't going to be sweating trying to visualize a dense textbook page. You'll just be silently singing the answer in your head, allowing for rapid, accurate clinical reasoning. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really practical challenge. Look at your plain, boring lecture notes right now. Which high-yield facts are you going to extract and transform into your very first unforgettable review song today? The cognitive science is clear, the recipe is right there waiting for you, so get out there and build some unbreakable memories.